In the silence of the night, something strange falls from the sky and crashes into the desert with a loud explosion. A hunter sitting nearby and his dog see the blast. The dog starts barking continuously and runs toward that mysterious thing out of curiosity, but immediately runs back in fear. The next moment, the hunter hears a terrifying roar. He nervously loads his gun while his dog runs away. The next morning, Renee says goodbye to her dead pet chameleon. She places it on the grill and burns it, like a small funeral. Then she reminds her mother, Linda, that she has to take her to the store today because she needs to buy food for her pet snake. Linda, slightly irritated, says she doesn't like Renee's scary pets at all. Just then, Linda's boyfriend Chase comes in for breakfast. Renee ignores him, so Chase angrily says, "At least say good morning." Renee doesn't reply. But while leaving, she scratches his van in anger. At school, Renee is a lonely girl. The other kids make fun of her. During lunch, she sits with a boy named Gil, who is also an outcast. Gil tries to talk to her, but Renee just wants to eat quietly. After class, Linda comes to pick her up late. On the way, Linda asks, "How was your day?" But Renee changes the subject and says, "Why were you late again? Didn't you go to the office?" Linda tries to lie, but Renee figures out that Linda and Chase had a fight. She says, "Mom, you should break up with him. He doesn't do anything. He just drinks all the time." Linda calmly replies, "Chase needs me, and it feels nice to be needed." When they get home, Renee feeds all her weird pets and talks to them while playing the banjo. She feels that her snake is her best friend, and that thought makes her even sadder. During dinner, Chase brings up the scratches on his van and suspects Renee, but Linda changes the topic. Then Chase complains about the smell from the microwave and Renee says, "I heated a dead mouse in it for my snake." Chase shouts in disgust, saying how gross that is. Renee mocks him in return and Chase throws chips at her face. Frustrated, Renee runs out of the house. Inside, Linda and Chase's voices keep yelling at each other. Fed up, she gets on her ATV and rides alone into the desert. There she finds an overturned truck and a huge crater nearby. When she turns around, a terrifying roar echoes. It's a giant, monster-like alien. She hides in fear. The alien tries to chase her but is chained to the truck. It pulls hard, roars, and struggles, but the chain won't break. Finally, it gives up and collapses in exhaustion. Renee sees the chance and runs toward her ATV, but then she notices it's injured. Its leg is stuck in a hunter's trap. After thinking for a while, she gathers courage and goes near the truck to unchain it. The alien lets out a loud scream and she panics, quickly starting her ATV and driving away. When she reaches home, she sees her mother comforting Chase. Angry, she stops outside. The next morning, Renee sees several helicopters flying in the sky. She gets worried that they're searching for the alien. She decides to help it and makes a list of all the things she'll need. She asks Gil to lend her his mom's video camera and promises to give him her homework in return. When she gets home, Linda and Chase are waiting for her. Chase gives her his 24-hour sober coin and says he's going to stay clean till tomorrow. Renee coldly says, "But you drank last night, so how is that 24 hours? Chase says, "I'm trying. You should try for your mom too." After he leaves, Linda says he wants to change. Renee drops the coin on the floor and says, "He doesn't even say sorry, and you still defend him." That night, Renee packs all her important stuff and sticks a note on her door. "Doing homework, please don't disturb." Then she quietly sneaks into Chase's room and steals his keys. When she opens his truck, she finds small vodka bottles and a gun, her last missing item. She heads straight back to the desert. There's no sign of the alien anywhere, but through her binoculars, she sees it lying in the crater. She fires a shot into the air, but the alien doesn't move. Then she sets up the camera and slowly walks closer to cut the net around it. It stays completely still, so Renee thinks it's dead. Suddenly, the alien jumps at her and drips saliva on her head. Renee freezes in fear. The alien sniffs her and then steps back. Now she sees it clearly for the first time. It's truly an alien. Renee tries to talk to it and offers it an apple, but it throws the apple away. At that moment, helicopters fly over again, and Renee tries to explain to the alien that they're dangerous too. In the evening, while returning home, Renee remembers she left Chase's gun there. When she enters the house, she sees Chase drinking again. He says, "Please don't tell your mom." Then he asks, "Have you seen my keys?" Renee innocently says, "No." She goes outside to Dane and sees the alien hiding in the bushes. Frightened, she says, "Go away from here." But the alien doesn't listen. So she takes her ATV and leads it back toward the desert, hoping it will follow her there. But when they reach the desert, the alien disappears. Suddenly it appears right in front of her, opens its mouth, and sends out golden waves toward her. Those waves cover Renee's face, and for a few seconds her body floats in the air. Her eyes start glowing bright gold. When she wakes up, it's already morning. The alien is sleeping beside her. Renee hugs it and decides, "I can't leave it alone." She brings it home and hides it in the basement. Meanwhile, in the desert, a full military team with helicopters is searching for the mysterious object that fell from the sky. Back at home, Renee pretends to go to school and calls her mom to confirm she's at the office. Then, as soon as Chase leaves the house, she brings the alien into the main house. She tries to feed it, but it doesn't eat anything. Then she shows it around the house and introduces it to her pets. But she has to stop midway, because the alien tries to eat them. She decides to name the alien Croak. When Renee sings and plays her banjo, Croak's scales begin to tremble. Renee thinks he's scared, so she comforts him and says she'll protect him. A little later, Linda comes home early from work because she can't handle her depression anymore. Just then, she gets a message from Chase, who sends her a picture of his 48-hour sober token. Sitting in the car, Linda starts crying, thinking maybe she's the one who isn't trying hard enough. Meanwhile, in the living room, Renee is watching TV with Croak. When she hears the sound of the door opening, she panics. Linda enters the house and gets upset, seeing the mess everywhere. To calm herself down, she takes her pills. At the same time, Renee quickly grabs Croak and runs down into the cellar. Just then, Gil arrives. He came to pick up his video camera. Linda lets him in, and he goes into Renee's room. There, he sees an old photo of her father. For a moment, he's about to smell her pillow, but he stops himself, realizing that would be wrong. Renee leaves some water for Croak and goes back upstairs. Linda gets angry because Renee didn't go to school, but Renee lies and says she wasn't feeling well. When Renee goes to her room, she sees that Gil has watched the video of Croak. Renee lies, saying it was just some animal they saw in the desert, and now it's gone. She takes the camera back, but realizes Gil has stolen the tape. They argue, and right then, Linda opens the door and tells them to keep it open. After Linda leaves, Gil says, "Tell me the truth or I'll give the tape to the police." Renee, having no choice, takes him down to the cellar. Croak tries to attack Gil, but Renee stops him, saying he's a friend. When Croak smells Gil, he faints and even pees himself out of fear. After a while, when Gil wakes up, Renee covers his mouth so he doesn't scream. Then she sings to Croak to calm him down, and seeing that, Gil realizes Croak isn't dangerous. Later, Gil gives the tape back and promises he won't tell anyone, but neither of them knows that Agent Brown is taking photos of them from a distance. That evening, Renee hears noises from the cellar. She goes downstairs and plays her banjo, singing for Croak. She tells him the banjo used to belong to her father and shares some childhood memories. Then she tries to feed him, but he doesn't like anything. The next day, during lunch, Gil shares his Jurassic Park theory. Croak doesn't want pet food, he wants to hunt. At night, they both go to Hellhole Canyon and let Croak hunt. He attacks the pigs there and eats a lot. After eating, Croak brings a piece of meat for Renee, like he wants to share it with her. Renee, happy, tries to hug Gil, but Croak roars loudly and doesn't let them touch each other. When Renee gets home, she leaves Croak in the cellar. As she walks toward her room, Chase, completely drunk, grabs her hair and throws her on the sofa. He starts asking about his gun. Renee lies, but Chase figures it out. When she admits that the gun got lost in the desert, Chase angrily says, "You don't respect me because you're not afraid of me." Then he tells a story from his childhood, how his father used to beat him so he'd learn respect. Terrified, Renee tries to run, but Chase catches her. She bites his hand and tries to escape. In return, Chase throws her against the wall and climbs on top of her, choking her. Linda hears her screams, runs in, and pulls Chase off her. Down in the cellar, Croak hears all this and, in anger, starts punching the wall. The whole house begins to shake. After several minutes of hitting the wall, he gets tired and stops. Linda thinks it was an earthquake. She yells at Chase and throws him out of the house. When he tries to stay, Linda throws a beer bottle at the wall, and finally, he leaves. Then she checks on Renee, but Renee pretends to be angry and says she's going to her room. In reality, she goes down to the cellar and tells Croak to calm down. There, she gets tired and falls asleep. The next morning, an agent named Jonathan comes to see her. He shows his FBI badge and says they found Chase's gun, with Renee's fingerprints on it. Renee says she was just practicing shooting cans, but Jonathan warns her, "I'm being nice right now. If you don't give me the information I want, next time I'll come with a warrant and handcuffs." Meanwhile, Linda notices there's no water in the house, so she calls a plumber. Since he's an old friend, Linda leaves for work and lets him go down into the cellar. When he sees Croak, he panics and hits him with a tool. Croak bites him in anger. Terrified, the plumber runs to his van and speeds away, but because of fear and pain, he crashes into another car. That evening, when Renee comes home, Linda tries to talk to her, but Renee starts yelling and blames her for everything. Linda breaks down and cries, saying the water pipe burst. Renee immediately runs to the cellar. There, she sees blood, both human and Croak's. She tells Croak he can't hurt people anymore and decides she can't keep him in the house now. Meanwhile, Agent Brown goes to meet Gil. At night, Renee takes her ATV and heads into the desert, letting Croak follow her. He runs so fast that he overtakes the vehicle. Gil is already waiting there. Renee tells him that she plans to hide Croak inside Chase's van and take him to a wildlife reserve where he'll be safe. To do that, she'll have to stay with Croak until they reach there. Gil says Brown came to see him and threatened that if he didn't tell the truth about Croak, his family would be deported, but he still stayed quiet. After that, Renee hides Croak inside a large box in the desert and returns home to get ready for the trip. She leaves a goodbye letter for Linda and frees all her pets. But just as she's about to get into the van, a drunk Chase shows up with a gun. He drags her out and throws her on the ground, then calls Linda inside and makes both of them sit on the sofa, so he can complain that nobody loves him. Inside the house, Chase throws the table in anger. Meanwhile, in the desert, a group of agents finds the box, but when they open it, it's empty inside. At the same time, Croak is running back to the house at full speed. Inside, Chase is beating Linda badly. Scared and crying, Linda shouts to her daughter, "Run, Renee! Run now!" Renee tries to escape, but Chase chases after her and slams her face against the van. Then he points his gun at her and shouts, "Because of you, Linda doesn't love me!" Suddenly, Croak arrives and rams Chase hard against the van, killing him instantly. Renee tries to stop Croak, but he roars loudly and runs away. At that very moment, Gil arrives and seeing Chase's dead body, throws up. He tells Renee that saving Croak now is impossible, and also admits that he already told the agents everything. Just then, Jonathan comes out of the house and shoots at the ATV's tire. Within moments, the entire agency team surrounds the house and sets up their equipment. Renee is tied to a chair, and a net-like device is placed over her head, connecting her to a computer. The computer reports that the bond between Renee and Croak is the strongest connection ever recorded. Jonathan, to test the reaction, breaks Renee's finger just to hear her scream. Croak hears her scream and immediately starts running toward the house, but as soon as he enters, he gets trapped in a net and is electrocuted until he passes out. Renee, crying, begs them to stop, but Jonathan knocks her unconscious too. Sometime later, Croak is being transported to a government facility, lying on a special platform designed to keep him sedated. Renee is tied to a chair in an empty room. When Jonathan wakes her up, she spits on his face. Renee says, "Croak is my friend," but Jonathan replies, "He's dangerous." He explains that Renee isn't the first human to find an alien, but she's the first to survive. The government believes Croak was created by a highly intelligent alien civilization and was sent to Earth as a spy, meaning an attack on humanity could happen anytime. Since Renee's mind is linked to Croak's, Jonathan wants scientists to study her brain to find a way to destroy the aliens. He warns that if she refuses, he'll send Linda to an asylum and forcefully extract the information from Renee, even if it kills her. Linda is allowed to see her daughter one last time. She says she read Renee's letter and tearfully apologizes. After Linda leaves, Renee hurts herself to get Croak's attention, just like Jonathan did before. Hearing her scream, Croak gets furious, breaks free from the platform, and kills all the guards around him. Alarms start blaring and the lights flicker throughout the facility. Croak storms out of the lab, destroying anyone who tries to stop him. Linda, terrified for her daughter, tries to reach her, but the door is locked, so she crawls through the vents. When she comes out into the hallway, she freezes in horror. Dead bodies are everywhere. Jonathan and Agent Brown stand ready with guns aimed at the door. Suddenly, Croak bursts through the wooden walls and throws both agents so hard that they pass out. Croak is about to kill them, but Renee stops him. She gently touches him, calming him down, then takes Jonathan's keys and frees herself. They start to run away together. Outside, Jonathan regains consciousness and starts shooting at them, but Gil, who's hiding nearby, shouts a warning to Renee. Renee and Croak hide behind a car. Jonathan keeps firing wildly, not caring if the bullets hit Renee too. To protect her, Croak sacrifices himself, stepping out from cover and charging at Jonathan. Jonathan fires multiple bullets, but Croak keeps running, grabs him, and kills him. Renee runs to Croak, but when she realizes he's dead, she breaks down crying. Linda and Gil hold her and try to comfort her. Sometime later, the three of them are sitting together at a picnic, finally at peace. But in a government lab, scientists are still examining Croak's body. And suddenly, Croak's eyes open. So friends, I hope you liked this video. If you liked the video, then like, share, and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video. Till then, bye.